Hey friends, what's up? And welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Chav Daled, Daf 24, Masechta Taanis. Friends, I'm gonna at least try and pretend like my voice is back. My voice is talking not bad, Lamaisa. I'm gonna try the strategy from last night, where I take deep breaths, and sometimes it works. Anyways, well, sometimes it's okay, I guess. Anyways, but really, generally, my voice has been better. It just gets bad at night, and I've been recording at night, so that's unfortunate. Well, anyways, let's move on, friends. We got another Gevalga Daf over here at Masechta Taanis. Friends, should we just learn Masechta Taanis for the next 5.5 years? No, we can't. We have to stick with the program. All right. We're going to start on Daf Chav Gimel Amud Beis, all the way at the bottom. Rabbi Yossi bar Oven, Havashriach Kamid Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras. So Rabbi Yossi bar Oven would generally study by Rabbi Yossi from Yukras. Shavke v'asa v'kamid Rashi, and he abandoned Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras, and instead he went to study by Rav Ashi. Yom Echad, on a certain day, on one day, Shamei the Kagaris, and he heard, right, Rabbi Yossi bar Oven heard Rav Ashi teaching. Omar, and Rav Ashi and Rav Ashi said, Shmuel. So, what? Rav Ashi was teaching the following statement. Amr Shmuel says, Shmuel ashol dog min hayom b'Shabbos, a fellow who fishes a fish from the sea on Shabbos. Kemen sheyovish bo kiselo chayav. So once there is a dry spot on the fish that is the size of a coin, well, then he's going to be chayav for shochet, for slaughtering. You're not allowed to slaughter on Shabbos, friends. So once the fish is dried out like a coin's worth, well, then it's kilu, you killed the fish. Omerle v'lei mamar uvein snapirab, and then Rabbi Yossi bar Oven suggested to Rav Ashi that it's only considered killing the fish if the dry spot is between its fins. Omarle, and Rav Ashi says to Rabbi Yossi bar Oven, v'losov l'mar da'ir Rabbi Yossi bar Oven amra, and Rav Ashi not recognizing that this was Rabbi Yossi bar Oven, responds to Rabbi Yossi bar Oven. It says, well, isn't that the opinion of Rabbi Yossi bar Oven? Why don't you quote him? Omarle, onaniu, that's me. I'm Rabbi Yossi bar Oven. And Rav Ashi says, whoa, what? Omarle v'lav kamid Rabbi Yossi demin Yukras avo shchiach mar. Didn't you? I thought you were a student of Rav Yossi Demin Yukras. I thought you hung out with Rav Yossi Demin Yukras. What are you doing here? Omar lehein. So Rav Yossi Bavin says, yes, I am a student. I was a student of Rav Yossi Demin Yukras. Omar my time b'shav kamai also ocha. So then Rav Ashi says to Rav Yossi Bavin, so how come you left Rav Yossi Demin Yukras to study over here? So Omar So Rabbi Yossi bar Oven says, Gavra da'abeva barti lochos olai didi heichi chayis. So, well, Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras doesn't even have mercy on his own children. So, Memela, how can I assume that he's going to have mercy on me? I'm not even a child. So, therefore, Rabbi Yossi bar Oven figured, I better get out of here and find somebody else to study with. Very mahi. That kind of shtickle cliffhanger. Right? Well, he doesn't have mercy on his children? What? Tell me more. So what does it mean he didn't have mercy on his son? So Yom Echad, havu agri leagir bedavra. One time, Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras, he hired some workers to work his field. All right. And part of the deal was that he would supply them with food at the end of the day. Noga luhu v'lo aisi luhu rifta. And sure enough, the end of the day approached. 1 second, deep breath. Okay. Thank you. And so the end of the day came. You didn't bring them any bread. There was no bread to be found. Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras hadn't yet come with the bread. Amrulei livrei. So they said to Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras' son, Kofinon, we're hungry. So now at the time they were sitting taka under a fig tree. Omar, so the son of Rabbi Yossi Demin Yukras says, Te'ena fig, hotzii perosayich, release your fruit. V'yochlu po'alei Abba, so that my father's workers can eat. Meaning, Rabbi Yossi the Ben Yukras had not yet come with the food. The people were hungry. So his son spoke to the fig tree, and they worked it, and he said, no, fig tree, can you do us a favor and just give us some fruit? And afiku v'achlu. So the fig tree obliged and produced the shtickle fruit, and they ate. That sounds very nice. Well, until this. That then, Rabbi Yossi the Ben Yukras showed up. Omarlu, he said to them, Lo tinkitu, sorry, don't, please don't be upset with me. B'daitaychu daidi naghono mitzvah tarachna. Because there's a reason why I'm late. It's because I was busy doing a mitzvah. So I apologize. 1 second, deep breath. Okay. So I apologize for being late, but I was talking. There was a mitzvah that I had to do. That's why I'm late. So hashta hu desagoi, and I was busy with it until now, and that's why I'm late. Omle Rachmon Lizboich ki echida azbon brach, and he says, may the Eibishter satisfy you just like your son satisfied us. Omelu meicho, and he said, Rabbi Yosef Ben Yukra says to them, what do you mean? What do you mean? My son satisfied you from where? So Amu Achi Vachi Avamaise. So they communicated to Yosef Ben Yukras what happened. The story, the fig tree, he spoke to the tree gave some fruit. Oh my Lord, Bini, and he says to his son, Ato yitrachta es konech laotzi teina peroseh shlo bezmano. You burdened your owner, your master, the Eibishter, so that the fig tree should produce fruit before its proper time. Yeosef shelo bizmano, and he cursed his son essentially that he should die young before his time, just like he burdened the Eibishter that the tree should produce fruit not in its proper time. Well, you, my son, will die not in your proper time. Oof, okay. What's the story with his daughter that Rabbi Yossi bar Ovin said that Rabbi Yossi the Ben Yukros doesn't have any mercy on his son, as we just saw, and not on his daughter? What happened with his daughter? So Habile Barto Bailas Yofi. Okay, he talked at a daughter that was very, very beautiful. Yom Echad Chazila Ugavra Tavakarya Behutza. So Yitaka saw one day a very strange thing. There was a fellow, he was peeking through a hole in the fence at his daughter. Alright? And the fellow was looking at his daughter. What the heck was that? I don't know. Let's go weiter. Who's that? Deep breath. Oh my Lord, my high. So he says to the fellow, "No, what's going on? Why are you peeking through a fence at my daughter?" So Amalei, well, Rebbe, the lokcha lo zachisi, says, "Look, if I can't marry her, there also lo ezke, I may as well look at her." Oh my Lord. So, 1 second. Give me a second. Okay. So, oh my Lord. So he said to the to his daughter, Biti, my daughter, Komitzairas luhu livriosa shuvi le'africh vayikoshlu bich b'nei adam. Wow, very interesting. So he noticed that this fellow was staring at his daughter. So he says to his daughter, "Look, because of you, you're giving a hard time to people because you're too beautiful. Return to your dust, so that nobody should be tempted to look at you." That's an interesting perspective. All right. Havle awu chamra. So Rabbi Yossi ben Yukros Yitaka had a donkey. All right. That sounds nice. Anybody at Babylon Talmud have a donkey? Kedavu agrila kol yoma. So when they would rent it out, a donkey for the day business. You rent out the donkey for the day. And the orta of Mashajila Agra Agaba, and at night, the people who rented the donkey, they would send so the money, the fee on the donkey. All right. Vasi leveimara, and he would walk home and with the money. V'tafu la obatzvila lo asya. Now, if the people who rented the donkey put on too much money or too little money, it would not go nowhere. Yom echad inshu zuga de sandale Allah velo azla ad dishaklunu mina badar azla. One time, people forgot shoes on the donkey. The donkey wouldn't go anywhere until they removed the shoes, and then it went. Okay, you ever met a donkey like that? You ever met? Maybe for Purim, someone could dress up as a donkey that you put money on, and it runs away. That's a good Purim costume. All right. Elazar ish birsa karabu chazule gaboid stoko. Now, Elazar ish birsa was another interesting fellow. Karabu chazule gaboid stoko. So when the people in charge of the charity would see Elazar ish birta, so abutashu mine, they would run away from him. The chomadahava gabe yoivlu. Because whatever he had, he would basically give all of his money to the tzedakah. And, it's like a Shlomo Kalbach kind of fellow. Pashit, everything he had, he just gave away. So, and, he has a family and stuff. He's very nice to give everything away, but Lamaisa, he couldn't afford to give everything away because then he didn't have anything for his family. So whenever the people in charge of the charity would see him, rather than saying, "Oh, great, here's payday for the charity," they would actually avoid him because they would say, it was not responsible giving. Meaning, he gave too much. Anyways, so Madav Gabe Yoivlu. So Yom Echad Hava Solig L'Shuka. So one time he went to the market in order to buy a dowry for his daughter. And the people from the charity saw him, so of course they hid because they didn't want that he was going to give away too much money. Also, Virad Basrayu, but Hitaka noticed them and chased after them. Omru, he said to them, Ashboesichu, b'mayaskisu, what are you collecting money for? Which tzedakah? Omru, they said to him, Biyasum v'yisoma, look, the Mai said we're collecting money because there's an orphan and an orphaness who are getting married, and we're raising money for the chasen. Omru, and he said to them, Ha'avoid, shein kodman leviti. Wait a second. That's they have priority to my daughter. Are Yosem and Yisoma getting married? Shokol kol dahava ba'ade v'yoiv lehu. He Pashit took everything that he had and gave it to the tzedakah so that these two people can get married. Pashle chadzuzah, he had one zuz left over. Zovan lechite, he bought some wheat. Ve'asik shadi be'achlava. And he went home and he took whatever wheat that he bought and he threw it into his storage house. Asoy devisu omra la levarte. Now his wife came and says to his daughter, "My aisiavu, no, what did your father bring? What's the dowry?" Omra la, and she said to her mother, "Komada aisi ba'achlova." Whatever he brought home, it's currently in the grain storage. Shadise, ba'achlava shadise. Whatever he brought back, he threw it into the grain storage. Asya lemiftach bava da'achlava. So she came to check what he bought, and she went to open up the door to the granary thing. Chazas achlava de mal yochite. The storage house was poshit, filled to the brim with wheat. Now remember, Rabbi Elazar ish birsa, he only purchased one zuz worth of wheat. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know how much a zuz is, but it doesn't quite sound like a full granary's worth of thing. I think the point was that he didn't buy very much, but whatever he bought, he threw into the storage thing, and it pushed it, a miracle happened. It got filled up to the brim with wheat. It was like, bursting through the seams of the door. Velo miftach bava michite. You couldn't open the door because I guess it opened in, and there was too much wheat. Miracle happened. And his daughter came to the Beis HaMedrash and said to Rabbi Elazar Ish Birsa, come and see, Abale, come and see what the Eibishter did for you. The Eibishter who loves you did for you. Oh my Lord. And he said to her, he said, look, this was a miracle, and we don't, get benefit from a miracle, and therefore it's hektish, and we are not going to take advantage of this miracle, and you have the same rights to this wheat as any other person has rights to it. So interesting. He was not willing to get benefit from this miracle that happened from him and his wheat. Very interesting. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya Gazur Taanisa. Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya proclaimed that there has to be a fast day. But Yitaka prayed, but no rain came. He says, wow, look how the look how the generations have gone from Shmuel, right, the Shmuel the prophet, to Yehuda the son of Gamliel. Who's Yehuda the son of Gamliel? Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya. His grandfather was Rebbe. Rebbe had a son, Rabbi Gamliel, and he was Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya, his Rebbe's grandson. Oilo l'dor shekei niska, oilo l'mi shalsu b'yom of kach, and he's felt kind of modern. He said, "Woe is to a generation that is stuck with me. Woe is to somebody who has to deal with such low individuals." Cholash daite, he felt terrible. V'asa mitra, and then the rain came. V'nesiya gazer tainisa, they decreed a fast day by the nasi. V'lo odainu coughs. V'lo odainu l'Rabbi Yochanan l'Reish Lakish, but they didn't let Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish know about the fast day. L'tzafra odainu, and the next morning they let Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish know that it was a fast day. Amalei Reish Lakish Rabbi Yochanan. So Reish Lakish says to Rabbi Yochanan, "Hadlei kabilna alon me'urta," but we didn't accept this fast upon us from yesterday, as we learned maybe a week or two ago. They have to accept the fast from advance. Amalei on Basayu goes Gorinon. We go based on the Beinasiyah. That meaning this is not just like an individual fast, a fellow who decides that he wants to fast. This was a fast that was decreed. One second. All right. Yeah, this thing kind of works. Anyways, so he says, this was established by the Beinasiyah, by the Nasi, and therefore we go after them. The Beinasiyah goes with Tainisa v'lo mitra. By the Nasi, they decreed a fast day, but no rain came. Tanulu Oshaya Zeirid min Chavrayas. So Oshaya, the youngest of the Chevre, so he taught. And it will be that if there will be, right, by the Parhel and Davar Shel Tzibor, right, if from the heads of the of the congregation there will be a mistake. So it is a parable to a bride who is at her father's house. If her eyes look good, so then it means that she doesn't have any blemishes, mums. All right. But if her eyes don't look good, well then I don't know, something's wrong. You have to check. So asu, where am I? So asu abdev ramule suji b'tzavai. 1 second. So basically, what Reb Oshaya Zeirid min Chavraya was saying was, look, just like by this bride, if the eyes are okay, then the whole body's okay. If the eyes are no good, the whole body's no good. Here also, if we're not getting any rain, don't look at us, look at the leadership. The leadership must be problematic. So, Asu avde viramu le sujur b'tzavar. Friends, this sounds very schwer. So the servants of the Benesiah came and they wrapped a sweater around his neck. That sounds, what should we say? Certainly not pleasant. I don't know. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that. They were given, one second, deep breath. Whoa. Okay, taka works. So Amru lehu pnei maseh, but the people who knew Reb Oshaya, Zirman, Chavraya, they said, Shavke leave malon dohanami mitzayir lon came the chazin d'chumile l'shum shamayim lo amrile midi v'shavkinon le'asunami shavku. Let's read that again. Right, Shavke, they say, leave Reb Oshaya, Zirman, Chavraya alone dohanami mitzayir lon. Look, he does the same thing to us oichit. Became the chazinon, but once we realized the chumile l'shum shamayim, that really his intentions were holy intentions, midi, so then we don't say anything to him anymore. Vishavkinan, we leave him alone. Atun, nami, shavku, leave him alone. He had good intentions. Rebbe goes with Taanis of Los Mitra. Rebbe, he decreed a fast day, but rain did not come. Alas. Nochas kami ilfa. V'amrila, Rebbe ilfa. Ilfa came before Rebbe. Some taka say it was Rebbe Ilfa. Immediately when he says Masha Varuach, the wind started blowing. Morid Ageshim, he said, bring down rain. V'asa Mitra, the rain came. 1 second. Wow, it's getting more intense. I think that my body is realizing that I figured out the trick. Alright. Morid Ageshim V'asa Mitra. And he said, let it rain, and then it immediately rained. So Rebbe says, holy shnikes, because Rebbe made a fast and it didn't fast and it didn't rain, and then this other fellow comes and immediately says Masha Baruch Moed Geshem, it's winding, it's raining, all sorts of inyonim. So Rebbe says, Lu, tell me about yourself. Look, I live in a very poor neighborhood and there's no wine. There's no wine dartin. Right, it's very poor, and they can't afford wine for Kiddush and Avdalah. 1 second. Whoa, not push it. So I make sure that there is wine for Kiddush and Avdalah, and I can be motzi the people their obligation to say Kiddush and Avdalah. So therefore, he's so that's his chus. And in that merit, he's able to bring rain. Rav Ikla Lau Asra. Rav visited a certain place. Kazur Tainisa, he decreed a fast day. V'lo Mitra, but rain did not come. Nochas kam shlichah di tzibur. So a shliach tzibur went to pray. Excuse me. Masha Baruch v'nashav zika. Amor degeshem v'asu Mitra. And he said Masha Baruch, and then it began to wind. And he said, Morid Geshem, and it began to rain. Amalei, Mayuvdach, Rav says to him, no, tell me, who are you? What are you? How do you say, Masha Baruch, it starts to blow wind. Morid Geshem, it starts to rain water. So Amalei, Mikre, Dardake Ona, he says, oh, I teach the little kids. Umakrina livnei, Aniye, Kivnei Asire. And I teach everybody all the same, whether they come from a wealthy family, whether they come from a poor family. And if they can't afford to pay, so I don't accept anything. And I have a fish pond. Whoa, oh my gosh, it's starting to become less effective. And if a kid is misbehaving, so I bribe him with a fish from the pond. And we work it out until he comes back to study. So Taka, he explains that he teaches the kids, and he really pays attention. Chanoich lenar al pidarkoi, that you have to teach each fellow his proper way. Let's go weiter. So Rav Nachman goes to Taanisa. So Rav Nachman made a fast day. Barachme v'le'as mitra. He prayed, but no rain came. Amar shaklu leNachman chvotu min gudel ha'ara. So Rav Nachman, he was trying his hardest, and it wouldn't rain. So he says, I should just jump off of a roof. Chalash daite. He felt pretty bad. V'asa mitra, and then it started to rain. Okay, so you have to basically, I guess, threaten suicide, but then you get rain. Okay. Rabbi goes to Taanisa by Rachman v'lo Mitra. Rabbi, oh, come on, this is no good. One second, deep breath. All right, well, Rabbi goes to Taanisa by Rachme v'lo Mitra. Rabbi decreed a fast day, and he prayed, but no rain came. Amrulay, they said to him, Rav Yehuda k'avagaz Taanisa also mitra, and they said to Rabbi, they said, well, Rav Yehuda, when he would make a fast day, it would rain. Amrulu, he said to them, my Ivid, he says, look, it's true. When Rav Yehuda would make a fast day, it would rain. He says, I don't understand. What can I do? If we're talking about who was learning more, we learned more than they did. Right, it's a Gemara in Brachos and Daf Chof. I think Rav Papa asked Akasha Tabai, and the B'shnei Rav Yehuda called Tanuya b'nizikin, that in Rav Yehuda's generation, all of the learning was taka in nizikin. Ve'onon komasnin b'shisa sidrin. But we are not just learning nizikin. We're learning, right, nizikin, of course, being one of the 6 sections of Shas, Bava Kama, right? Those. So, but we learn. We have. We're learning all 6 of the all 6 of the sections. When Rav Yehuda would reach, sort of very detailed Tuma and Tara sugyas, like uksin, very detailed Tuma and Tara halachis. For example, the Mishnayos that deal with a woman who's pickling vegetables in a pot, or the sugya of olives that you pickle with their leaves or tahor. All right. So they would say, these are like the questions of Rav and Shmuel, meaning Rabbi was saying, I don't get it. In terms of learning, we learn everything. They would just learn Ezekiel. We learn everything. And yet, we have 13 yeshivas that are studying Masechta Uksin. And yet, nonetheless, Rav Yehuda somehow, when he needed rain, he would take off one shoe, already it would rain. And we, not only do we take off our shoes, we cry out and scream to the Eibishter all day, and nobody's paying attention. And then he says, Rabbi says, look, so if it's in terms of learning, because again, what happened? Rabbi made a fast day and it didn't work, essentially. They said, why didn't it work? When Rav Yehuda was around, it worked. So he says, yeah, I know, I don't understand. Our generation, we're learning a lot more than his generation. If you're concerned about maybe misdeeds, if anybody knows of any misdeeds, let me know. But what can the leaders of the generation do if the people are a bunch of nudniks? Oh, wow, okay. Fighting words there. So now the Gemara is going to elaborate on the story where Rav Yehuda removed the shoe and it rained. Rav Yehuda, Chazahanu Beitrei, Da'avu Kapartse, Birifta. Rav Yehuda once noticed that there were these two fellows who were playing with their food. They were throwing bread. Omar Shmamina Ikasava Ba'alma. So he said clearly there is too much abundance in this world if people can feel comfortable just throwing around bread. Yoiv Eine have a kafna. So he looked a certain way and tara, there was famine. Amrule Rabbanu Rav Kaina Brei Rav Nechunya Shamoy. So the rabbi said to Rav Kahana, the son of Rav Nechunya, who was Rav Yehuda's attendant, so they said to Rav Kahana, the son of Rav Nechunya, so they said, look, you are Rav Yehuda's attendant. There's like serious famine happening over here. Make sure that when he leaves, I guess the Beis HaMedrash or whatever it is, he leaves through the door that passes by the market so he can see what's going on in the market. Asya, so he did that. Vinafak l'shuka, and Rav Yehuda went out to the market. Chaza kinufia, and he saw that there was a gathering. Amrlu, he said to them, "My hi, what's everybody gathering about?" Amrlu, they said to him, "Akus v'detamre kaime." Well, there is a container of dates. The kamizdavan, and they're selling it, and everyone's, there's, dates are not easy to find. There's a famine going on, and everyone's, trying to see if they can get the dates. So, Omar Shmamina Kafna Ba'ama, so Rav Yehuda says, wow, okay, clearly there's a famine over here. Omar Le Shamoy Shlofli Misanoi. So he said to his attendant, remove my shoes so that I could fast. So Sholaf Le Chad Mesaina. So the attendant removed one of his shoes, V'asa Mitra, and then voila, just like that, it starts raining. Kimatul Mishnah Fachrina, when he came to remove the second shoe, also came Eliyahu Anovi, V'Omar Le, and he said to him, Omar HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishalfa Sachrina Machrivna La'ama. Look, if you take off the other shoe, it's going to be too much rain, and the world is going to be destroyed. That is insane. Eliyahu Hanavi showed up to Rav Yehuda. That's unbelievable. I mean, this isn't like Rav Chanina ben Dosa over here. This is Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda Amarav. Rav Yehuda. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Eliyahu Hanavi. Rav Yehuda. Unbelievable. Alright. Amar of Mari Breder Bas. Brother Bas Shmuel. Rav Mari, the son of the daughter of Shmuel, said, that on that day where Rav Yehuda, turned things around from famine to like rain and good stuff. So it says, Rav Mari, the son of the daughter of Shmuel. So I was that day on the bank of Nahar Papa, and I saw angels, and they looked like sailors, like seamen. They called Maise Chalo Malunu La'arbe, and they were taking sand and they were filling up boats with sand. And it was miraculously turning into fine flour. Also, and everybody was going to go to purchase this fine flour, this miraculous fine flour. Amru, and Rav Yehuda said to them, Mehalo tizbun d'maisenissimu, don't buy from this miraculous flour because it's miraculous, right? We don't want to sort of, right, just like we saw earlier with Rav Elazar Ish Birsa, that he, didn't want to eat from the miraculous wheat. So he says, look, this is hocus pocus flour. L'machar asyan aive techite de farzina, and the next day there was boats full of actual wheat, and they purchased that. Rava ikla Agronia. Rava visited Agronia, Gazu Taanis v'lo asu mitra, and he established a fast day, but no rain came. Alas, no rain came. Amru bisu kuli alma b'taanisaychu, and he said, everybody, don't eat tonight. Go to sleep hungry. Go to sleep. Continue your fast overnight. Lemachar, and the next day, Amru, he said to them, miyikid chaza chilma lema, and he said, if anybody has a dream, share their dream with us. Omar Lura Belazar me Agronia. So Belazar me Agronia said, the Didi Ikarion B'chalmi, they were reading to me in a dream. Shlam tav, lirav tav, meribon tav, demituve metiv la'ame, peace. What? good peace to a good teacher from a good master, that from his goodness he gives to his nation. Amash Mamina is Rotzini. So Rava says, wow, okay, this must be a time to a time of favor, a time to pray. They said we better pray right now, and they prayed, and sure enough, it rained. That was a cool thing. There was a certain fellow who needed to get lashed. That does not sound fun. Mishum debal kusis, because he slept with a kusis, and he wasn't supposed to do that, so they whipped him. Nagde Rava vamis. Rava whipped him and he died. Ishtama milsa be Shvar Malka. Shvar Malka heard about this incident, and he was not very happy. But it's Rava, and he wanted to give Rava a hard time because he killed this fellow. So Amrle Ifra Hormiz Ime de Shvar Malka Livra. So Ifra Hormiz, the mother of Shvar Malka, said to her son Shvar Malka, Lo la'avi loch esik dvarim b'adu Yudai. Don't get involved with the Yidden. Because whatever they ask from the Eibishter, he gives them. Amrullah, he said to her, Mayi, what do you mean that whatever they ask for, the Eibishter gives them? Ba'un rachme vasu mitra. So she says, well, they pray and it rains. Yeah, they pray for rain and it rains because it's the rainy season. It was going to rain anyways. Ella libo rachme idno biskufas Taanis. Whoa. Says Shvar Malka to his mother, why don't they pray now for rain in the middle of the summer? And see if rain comes. If rain comes in the middle of the summer, then I'll believe it. And that they could just ask the Eibishter for stuff and it works. So she sent to Rava, no, prayed that it should rain right now in the middle of the summer. So Rava prayed and it didn't take rain. Omer the fun of Ribbonu Shel Olam. So then Rava says to the Eibishter, he says, Master of the world, Elokim ba'oznenu shmainu avosenu, that God, our fathers, had told us, Sipulanu, Elokim ba'oznenu shamainu avosenu sipulanu, our fathers taught us, Po pa'alta b'meim b'meikedem, that you have done great things in the earlier days, V'anu beinenu lo ra'inu, but we haven't seen any of it. Also Mitra, Ad shvoch marzavid tzipor lediglas. And it rained then so much until the gutters from the houses were like flowing into the Tigris. Also Avua Yischazile b'choma, and then Rava's father came to him in a dream. Ve'omar lei, and he says to Rava, Mi'ika demitrach kam yishmai kulei. Is there anybody who troubles the Eibishter so much, like you troubled him to bring rain in the middle of the summer? Omar lei, his father then said to him, Shniduchtech, you better change your place where you hang out. Shniduchtech, he changed his place. And the next day, he found sure enough that his bed was filled with knife stabbing holes. That like a demon came to kill him because he made God bring rain in the middle of the summer when it wasn't supposed to rain. There were so many interesting little nuggets in that story. First of all, Rava killed somebody. I mean, a lot of like the Tanaim and Amorim killed people, but Rava killed somebody because he gave him lashes too much. That was interesting. Also, that Rava was around during the time of Shvar Malka. That's very interesting. And also that, also this thing with like his father came to him and the demons. All this with Rava. I mean, this is again, this is like just the Amora Rava. I mean, crazy stories over here. All right. But Papa, Rav Papa Gazer Tainisa V'losa Mitra. Rav Papa Take decreed a fast day, but it did not rain. Alas, it did not rain. Chalash Libe. So of course Rav Papa felt bad. Why didn't it rain? Saraf Pinka Dedaisa, and he ate a spoonful of porridge. Uvayrachme, and he prayed V'losa Mitra, and it still did not rain. Amalei Rav Nachman by Ushpazdi. So Rav Nachman by Ushpazdi says to Rav Papa, Yisharif my Pinka Achrise Dedaisa Asi Mitra. Hey, he was kind of making fun of Rav Papa. He says, why don't you just eat some more on the fast day? Maybe then it'll rain. Chalash daite v'asa mitra. And then Rav Papa felt bad, and then it rained. Friends, you ready? You ready? You ready, right? Reb Chanina ben Dosa. Everybody loves a shtickle Reb Chanina ben Dosa. When did Reb Chanina ben Dosa live? Like, seen earlier Tana, a late Tana? I don't know. But he's a Gevaldige Tana. Everybody loves a shtickle Reb Chanina ben Dosa, right? Of course, you can't think of Reb Chanina ben Dosa. Well, you can, but Lauren, of course, once posted a funny meme in our WhatsApp group with, it was a funny meme. It was a funny meme. What was the meme again? It was funny though. Something to do with, I think, Chuck Norris or something. I think so, right, Lauren? Let's go weiter. Excuse me. Oh no, I remember what it was. There was like a Chuck Norris meme, and then Lauren said that it reminded her of Chanina ben Dosa or something like that. So Chanina ben Dosa was traveling, also Mitra, and it taka rained. And then Chanina ben Dosa says, "Hey God, everyone's just chilling, and I'm uncomfortable because I'm traveling and it's raining." Pasach Mitra, and it stopped raining. So it's funny how, like, it's interesting how, Rava, he asked God to, like, make it rain in the summer, and all of a sudden demons come to, like, kill him in the middle of the night, right? There was Rav Yossi Dimin Yukras, that his son made a fig tree produce figs, and then his father basically killed him. Here you have Reb Chanina ben Dosa saying, "Hey, Hashem, can you just stop raining?" Alright, it stops raining, no big deal, no demons come to kill him. Interesting. It's Reb Chanina ben Dosa. Pasuk Mitra, it stopped raining. Kimatu Levese, when he arrived at home, Omar Lefanu Ribbanu Shalom, he says, "Master of the world, Kol Olam Kulu B'tzai V'Chaninu B'Nachas." The whole world. Whoa, that's insane. The whole world is now uncomfortable because they need rain and it's not raining, and I'm just hanging out at my house. Also Mitra, so it started raining. Rav Yosef Ma'ahanyale Slosu de Kohen Gadol L'Gabe B'Chanina ben Dosa. Says Rav Yosef, the prayer of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, the high priest on Yom Kippur, pales in comparison to the prayers of Reb Chanina ben Dosa, Titnan, as we learned in the Mishnah, that the Kohen Gadol would pray a small prayer after he finished the avoda. My matzli, what would he pray? Ravan bar Ada, V'Rava bar Ada, Da'amri Tavayu, Mishmei Rav Yehuda, Yiratzim B'Fnecha Hashem Elokeinu, may it be the will before you, God, Shetehei Ashana Azog, Kishuma Ushchuna, should be rainy and dry. Shchuna Ma'al Yusohi Adrab Griyusai. What do you mean it should be hot and arid, right? That's not good. That's bad. El Im Shchuna Te Gishuma. No, if it's dry, it should be rainy, Bitzlula and dewy. And the prayers of the traveler should not interfere with you, right? Meaning, if it's raining and you have people traveling, and they're going to say, "Hey, please stop the rain," don't listen to them. And yet, right, so the Kohen Gadol prays to God that he should not listen to the people traveling who don't want it to rain. And yet, Reb Chanina ben Dosa overpowered that, was even more powerful when he said, "Look, God, can you please stop the rain because I'm traveling?" Ravacha b'derava Messiah Mishmei Rav Yehuda. Ravacha b'derava would then conclude the prayer in the name of Rav Yehuda. Lo yaidi avid shultun midveis Yehuda, that the rulership should not leave the house of Judah. And your nation Israel should not need to get parnosa from one another, right, a livelihood from one another, and not from some other nation. Everybody should be taken care of. Friends, that was the Avchav Daled of Masech Taanis. I think my voice did much better than on past days. That's good. So hopefully by next week we should be at full strength. So I thank everybody for your patience with me over this past week. Yeah, we saw some very interesting stories about Rav Yossi ben Yukras and his interaction with his children. We then saw stories of Rabbi Elazar Ish Birsa, and how he would give away all of his money to tzedakah, and the miracle that happened with his wheat after giving away his daughter's dowry to tzedakah. That nonetheless he didn't want to get benefit from it. We saw all sorts of stories about Amoraim praying for rain and it wouldn't come, and how they got rain to come. They felt bad and then it rained. and Rav Yehuda, how he would just take off one shoe, and that was already enough for the rain to come. And Eliyahu Hanavi kind of came to Rav Yehuda, which was super interesting. And other stories about the different Amoraim and rain, and some stories about Reb Chanina ben Dosa at the very, very end. And we're going to continue with some stories about Reb Chanina ben Dosa tomorrow. Friends, have a good day. Peace out.